I've been shooting with the Sony A7IV for almost a year now, and this camera has yet to disappoint. I've used this camera to shoot events, I've used it to shoot weddings, I use it to film all of my YouTube videos, but as someone who takes a lot of portraits, and I mean a lot of portraits, I'm gonna talk about what makes this camera an absolute beast when it comes to shooting portraits. First things first, the Sony A7IV is equipped with a 33 megapixel sensor. It is full frame and extremely sharp. Now, because of this 33 megapixel sensor, these files are pretty big, producing a photo with a resolution of 7008 by 4672, and each raw photo averaging around 30 to 40 MB. This might sound like too much, but for me, I look at it like this. This 7K resolution allows me to capture stunning portraits, but also allows me to crop in a huge amount while still getting a sharp, high-resolution photo. The A7IV also shares the same sensor being used in the Sony A1, which is Sony's flagship camera and also $9,000. Now, because the Sony A7IV is a full-frame camera, you can expect amazing low-light capabilities as well as better depth of field, which means if we're taking portraits, you're going to be getting even more bokeh and background blur we all love than compared to using an APS-C sensor. Let's talk autofocus. The Sony A7IV has face detection eye tracking autofocus, which if set up properly is unreal for capturing portraits, and it's actually what I'm using right now to film my videos. If you want to know more about the settings I use to shoot portraits, click this right up here, or I'll leave it at the end of this video where I literally show you all of my camera settings I currently use. The A7IV has extremely fast and snappy autofocus throughout every single focus mode. Honestly, I've never had any focusing issues, even in low light situations where the A7IV has had troubles detecting my subject. This event I shot last week, it was very dark. I was using my on-camera flash and it still had no problem focusing on our subjects. Like, when I say this autofocus sticks to your subject's eye, I'm literally not kidding. Even if I have the model walking toward me or moving, the autofocus tracking does a great job. Now, I want to talk about the ARW, or the raw files coming out of this camera, because it almost doesn't matter if you're shooting in uncompressed or compressed RAW. The files are so easy to work with. They contain so much information with great dynamic range and good color rendition. The A7IV is said to get 14.7 stops of dynamic range, which is great for recovering shadows and highlights while still getting accurate colors. Now, I don't know how many times you're going to be over or underexposing your portraits, but it's safe to say you can easily recover shadows and highlights even up to 3 stops under or overexposed. So it gives you that peace of mind that even if you accidentally mess up your settings, you can recover a lot of it. Now, I know a lot of people complain about Sony cameras and the magenta tint they cast, but I've compared photos captured on an A7 II and A7 III, and I'm not gonna lie, you can clearly see the magenta tint in the photos coming from those cameras. However, on the Sony A7IV, I don't see this magenta tint. I think the colors are accurate, and I've had shoots, honestly, where the photos were so good, I didn't even have to edit them. Who knows, it could even be my eyes. The Sony A7IV also has incredible battery life. I've talked about this in some of my other videos and it still blows my mind. I honestly don't know why I still do it, but I always charge my batteries up before a portrait shoot, and I mean all my batteries, just in case, and then I end up not even going through one. Just to better understand this, I had a shoot on Monday where I took a little over 500 raw photos with some video as well. Then Anthony, Will, and I continued shooting some street photos around Toronto. All in all, we shot from around 2 p.m. till 8 p.m., so about 6 hours, and my camera was still at 39%. And it's funny because I'm still using that same battery right now to shoot this video, and it's at 12% because I've been filming for about 11 minutes now. Sony claimed that the battery is rated for around 580 shots per charge, but like me, there's some people that have been getting way more than that, and there's some people that have been getting way less than that. I don't know what the problem is, but I've only ever had great battery life with this camera. Now, when this camera first came out, one of the main concerns a lot of people had was the maximum frame rate coming from the mechanical and electronic shutter. When compared to some cameras with 15 and 20 frames per second, the A7 IV supposedly gets 10 frames per second on both the mechanical and electronic. I thought it was a little bit weird. I was doing a lot of research, and apparently that's on both the mechanic and electronic shutter. This is the maximum if you're shooting with your drive mode set to high plus and shooting in compressed RAW or JPEG. Shooting in uncompressed RAW, you can expect around 6 frames per second. Now, there's no way to sugarcoat this. Even with the electronic shutter, it's a lot slower than a lot of the other cameras out there. However, the way I shoot portraits, I'm not holding that shutter button snapping 100 photos. The only time I'm really shooting in burst is when I get the model to walk towards me or do some walking shots, and even then it's more than fast enough for that. I honestly think if you're shooting portraits, this will not affect you at all. If you're a Formula 1 photographer, this is probably not the camera for you. And lastly, the A7 IV uses the Sony E Mount, which I absolutely love because it means that I can use my Sigma art lenses to make sure I'm getting the sharpest and best portraits I can. I hope you enjoyed today's video or found it useful. If you did, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.